One. Hello everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today I thought I would just show you the latest project that I'm working on. Back in the day last year, I put up a video on trying to find the most volatile currency FX pairs out there for potentially max trading profit. So just go here to this link. Now the idea here is basically to look at using volatility in the markets for specifically for forex trading. Without volatility, you're not going to make money. But there seems to be this concept that if you trade the 6 major pairs or 8 major pairs or currencies, that you will make money. Usually they're very flat. Many scenarios where they're very flat, so you're not going to make a lot of money. May not make any money at all, and that's why people use leverage, which is quite high risk for where there's no opportunity in making money. So the idea here is to use volatility in Forex. And I've done enough testing with it now where I can, with confidence, say that if you're after, like me, after a 1% move in your portfolio, which is a simple target for exponential growth, you need to find quite likely the most volatile pairs and have something that you can use to follow price action and trade off of that. Now, because I'm using this script here that I've written last year in Python, it's using IQFeed as a data source. Now, any professional will tell you should always use the market data from your broker. So because I'm moving to Dukascopy, it's my hopeful, I think it will, amount of time I'm putting in, definitely Dukascopy is the choice for my broker when it comes to Forex trading. So as a result, I've had to write a new script and basically be able to source out that data. So let's talk about what we're doing here. So if you want to watch this video, just look up this title. So if you have been following me on my Dukascopy playlist, you'll find a lot of examples of data from or videos from Dukascopy. So you may or may not have seen this video or source code here in NetBeans Java, because Java is the programming language for Dukascopy APIs. It's one of, but it's probably the most useful. So here I have a script or a program that you can download, and it's modified from the JForex SDK, software development kit. And then from there, you're able to use this as an example to load up your strategy in your main file or main Java file, and then have it launch. In my case, this history parse filter week. Now again, this is a modified example as well that you can find on Dukascopy, the website. And what I've done is I've kind of pretty well butchered it to death. And I'm going to try to show you just a simple set of examples that I use to download data from Dukascopy. First, you know I'm using Redis, my data store, and as well as my message queue. So this is how it works. If you've seen my previous videos on pricing or on a sending out orders and execution from, let's say, a Python script into, or push the orders into Redis, and then have the Java side read those orders and then push those orders into JForex, the platform. We can do that. We're doing the same concept here, but we're doing it in reverse, where we are basically what I call sucking the data out of the JForex API, and then be able to download whatever currency I want, and then be able to push that data into Redis, and then have my Python scripts read that data and then calculate the volatility using the ATR, average true range, for different periods and being able to figure out what will be the different time frames that you can watch on your data and calculate your volatility to calculate what potential currency pair you want to trade for maximum potential profit. Now, let me reiterate that. If you watch this video I've highlighted here, in there you'll notice a ranking file of the most volatile currency pairs. And I've done this consistently enough now where if I'm ranking, let's say, a currency pair by week or by day, usually the one that does give you the most profit are usually the most volatile. Not only that, even the most volatile will give me the majority of profit versus the second or even third. So when it comes to analyzing your portfolio mix, when it comes to your currency pairs and your risk that you're willing to put out, usually I find if you are willing to put a higher risk on those volatile currency pairs, you'll get a higher potential for profit. Obviously, it depends on your trading algorithm that you use or strategy. But I'm finding there's some indicators out there that work consistently. But for this type of strategy, it has shown to have a lot of potential. So knowing that, let's go back to this history bars filter 1 week. Okay, so what you need to understand is if you go into the Java docs, so if I do a search for Dukascopy or JForex API Java docs, and what I'm looking for is basically, in this case, I'm looking for this period. Now I want to show you the periods that are available to you. So let's just look up period here. Yeah, so we're going to look at this one. And the different periods that we have that are available to us in the API is daily, 5 minutes, 4 hours, monthly, 1 year, which is now deprecated, and I believe there's weekly and monthly. So it changes the way the previous script works. The longest time frame I have is monthly. And from my testing and analysis with the Dukascopy stuff, what I'm finding is you do want to trade on an intraday basis. So the longest time frame that you'll need is monthly. I don't think you need anything beyond 6 months or even a year. It helps to show consistency in what's volatile over the long term, like a quarter, 6 months, or by a year. Because we're doing it intraday, I think monthly should be enough to work from. And then, of course, break it down by week and intraday, either by daily or 4 hour. Now, I've not tried this minute one, but at the end of the day, I think that might be a little too low level. I won't know until I start getting into more testing with it. So going to our code, let me just load up my JForex here. And I have the same program here, this Java file, as a strategy ready to go in JForex. So I'm going to show that. And right now, I'm only showing the Java side. I've not really worked out the Python side yet. But that should be a lot easier than the Java side, that's for sure, because I mean Python's a lot easier than Java. Okay, so here's our strategies. Before I get started, I'm going to make sure I've got a clean message log. So just show you. I want to get rid of these two strategies here for the history, and then just reload it. Make sure I got the latest one. So, okay. All the weird problems that I've been experiencing with JForex as such as now. Can't even get into my, oh, here we go. Okay, finally. So we want this one. Okay, we don't care about the source right now. Let me just run, actually, yeah, let me just show you the source code here. So again, you can find this example on the website. In this particular one, what we're doing is we are going to download the Euro USD with a period of monthly, and at the same time we're going to display it on an hourly basis. So the only thing we're really interested in is this bars no filter message. That's all we really care about. We don't care about the other one. So what happens here now is we know it's running. So here's all the data we've downloaded. So remember, this is just for the Euro USD, and it's quite a bit, as you can tell. So once we can get this stopping. Okay, so here, as I said, we have the timestamp, the message, and then we have our open, close, low, or high, low, and then the volume. So obviously this is fairly important information because this is the open, high, low, close is what we use to calculate the ATR. So that's what we're downloading. So when you take a look at my script, it's very similar, but the only difference here is we capture the bars, and then what we need to do is we cycle through them, and then what we're doing is we convert the instrument to a string. Here I'm still experimenting with this. So if I load up the Redis client here, so if I just do a Redis CLI for the client, today is not my day. Connection refused. Oh, okay, should be running. There we go. So if you look in the source code here, we're pushing, because Redis is key store, our key is going to be market order, and then we have our data. So if I give you an example, of course we're using LRange, and then we got market order 0 minus 1 to show you everything in there. Things get a little crazy when we work with multiple instruments. It took me a while to figure out how to do it, but I'll show you what I've done. But you can see here we have the Euro USD, and then we should hopefully see some other currency pairs. No, it doesn't look like, but we have the same similar data as before, the open, high, low, close with the volume. Okay, so I'll flesh out all the data. All right, so we know that is now empty. So if I do an LRange here, I know that. All right, so what we're doing now is we are going to do a monthly, but I'm going to change it to weekly. And here. Change the period to weekly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to run this program called a strategy. So hopefully you've seen this before, where it authenticates everything and loads up some currency pairs with a bunch of warnings. One exception gets thrown, and then it will launch the strategy that I just showed you. Okay, so there's the warnings on the different pairs. Okay, so our JVM's been launched, and then there's our exception. Okay, so our strategy gets started. So you can see here we have multiple currencies here. So for example, we have the USD SEK, and then at the same time, these are bars, as you can tell. Then we get into the USD Singapore dollar, and then we have the Euro USD. So we know that this works, and if I did a L range as well on the same data for the market order, you definitely can see now that we've been able to push that data into this Redis instance. Okay, so that's cool. So as I said, let's do one more period of daily. I think that's the smallest amount of data that we'll work from. All right, so let me just flush the database again. Okay, boom, no tricks there. All right, so we have now changed to daily, and we run. Okay, so these are just two different periods here that I want to show you. Okay. It's no different than what I showed you before. The only difference is the data will be less. Okay, so it's running. So hopefully, see, you can see here, it's definitely less data here. And then Euro SEK. Okay, so with that in mind, we know that data is going to be there, right? So I'll flush the data again. That doesn't matter. Okay, so let's take a look at some other coding examples on how to do the multi-instruments. All right. So what needs to be done here is in the onStart, we need to subscribe to the appropriate instruments that we want. So we have Euro USD. Okay. So what I've done here is I've got an instrument list, and let's see here. So I have the instrument list which I created, which is a new class. So this is it here. So in our case, all we really care about is these instruments to get added to the subscription list. So I can add in all the currencies that I want to subscribe to, or instruments. So in this case, Euro Austrian dollar and the Euro US dollar. Okay, and then from there, what you can do is you converted this class, which is a type of instruments, but a list of them. And then what we've done is we've converted it into an array list, or an array, or sorry, it's an array list. Initialize it. And then we just add in these guys as well, to add in those instruments to subscribe to. And then we subscribe to these two. Now, a big note here is, depending if you've got the J4X running, what you'll find is that this strategy will also include these instruments as well. So you need to clear them out on start before you subscribe to whatever you want. In my case, I'm going to want to subscribe to pretty well everything. So that would mean if I look up just show you here. So if I look up instrument, this class, there we go. So here's all the available instruments in the Dukascopy API. So we have the different crosses, Euro, Australian dollar, Euro, Canada, Hong Kong, Japanese yen, all that stuff. All right. So keeping our minds focused here. So that's how I do that. Is I just, the only way I could figure out how to do that was by adding these instruments to whatever you're subscribed to. And then, as I said, you subscribe to them. So now what you've got is you can go into the context and figure out what instruments that you are subscribed to, and then you can iterate through them and then do all these different time periods, in my case daily, and then once we know we have a new list generated of these bars, then we can go through each bar and push them into Redis, as you know. Okay, so here we create our instrument and the space, and then that bar field that we print out in the original script. This one. Okay. So if I look at what I'm referring to, the original script, is this stuff here. Okay, these instruments here are how they get generated. And the one that gets output or displayed is right here in this print statement. But in our case, it's really just the bar. And the bar is, I believe, oh yeah, this is, the bar is the bars that you've collected from the download of the latest set of data. Okay, like right here, bars no weekends is generated up here, obviously. Okay, so we now have, this is the this becomes the value for the key store, between the key and value. And then this is the key. So in our case, we're just going to call it market order. Now I may change this and add that to the key on top of the time period as well. This gives it that unique data set. So on my Python side, I'll be able to call that key for that particular instrument for that particular period. Right? Here's the key for now. And then we push both the key and the value into Redis. And that's it. Pretty simple stuff. So that's all I'm doing. Let me know if you got questions, and I'll talk to you later.